Okay, I've since read some instructions, and I learned that you're supposed to have a fastener. Two things I learned is the choice of fasteners is up to the installer. That's what the manufacturer doesn't even go there. So, it is what it is. But another thing is the set of fasteners should be within 2 inches of every corner. So we're missing a fastener here. We are. I also mentioned that this leak. Mentioned this to the code inspector, and he was pretty lackadaisical about it, if you will. He's right. He's the local jurisdiction with authority. He's under the idea that step and counter flashing would stop that leaking because it stops the brick from leaking, and I'm going, there is no brick there. And then we started talking about theory, like, well, when the water goes through the brick, it goes on the back side of the brick. You're still supposed to have moisture protection behind the brick for the interior wall. And that counter flashing has nothing to do with what's coming through here. So, I really don't think this issue's been addressed. And then I think I mentioned this crack right over here. And this, by the way, that's not a foundation problem. Okay, that's a cement problem. Concrete, whatever. Kind of got a little duplication going right in here. And the builders, they got this great joke. And the best jokes are grounded in truth. That's what makes them funny. It's like, well, concrete does two things. It gets hard and cracks. I bet you it tells you that. Bet you $5. But I just don't know what's holding that bolt in place. These two bolts. Obviously it was important enough to put a bolt there. So why would it possibly be important to make sure that the bolt doesn't go anywhere and it stays secure and does its job? That part's not necessary. Just the fact that a bolt is there, I guess. Okay. And we're dividing this up because the dynamics are pretty expansive. We're not going to do a plumbing and electrical. We're going to do upstairs and downstairs. Okay, so this is the home faces south. So that makes this the east wall. This is your electric load center right here. See this? And we nailed it into place. Excuse me, we did not nail it into place. We screwed it into place. Screws are faster and tighter. Just throw a screw in it, Philip. Let's go to the beer store. Okay, Doug, man, you're the fastest guy in the shop. I know. I'm going to get a raise next week, No, it's supposed to be nailed in, okay? Screws are faster and tighter. We all get that. We all get that. Screws are faster and tighter. But nails have much more shear strength. Much more shear strength than nails. Moving into the laundry. The laundry length is labeled. That's a good thing. But over here, this is not a nailing pattern. Alright? But this is, see the way the drain is coming out and it's almost flush? If it's not flush with the drywall, is that it expands and contracts, it's going to make noise. If that's touching the drywall, when the water comes in, it's going to be like a magnifying amplifier, and it's going to be louder. So I get that. That's just a little tight. Just put it out here. I think that's awful close to the drywall. I just do. Moving on along in here a little bit. I just had a terrible thought. Am I in the right house? I already spent a lot of time here. 414. Alright. And these are the instructions, building plans and stuff. 414. So moving along into the kitchen. Oh, man. I had a moment there, though. I did. Okay, we're in the kitchen pantry. And by the way, these are the instructions. These are the building plans. The code inspector was frustrated because there's things in these plans that aren't being carried out here. And I'll call those to your attention here momentarily. Into the pantry. These are called nailing plates. This is the first one that's come to the attention. We need a nailing plate right here. We got a nailing plate over here. If it's more than an inch, if it's closer than 1.5 inches, it needs a nailing plate. And the same thing with plumbing. Okay, see how close this PEX is to the frame? Alright, if they can't put another bracket in here and hold it away from it, you know, that's one answer. That's one answer. But to let it just sit here and come up next to the drywall so that a screw can get to it, that's not the answer. So a nailing plate could be installed, or they could just move the PEX over. That's, you know, all that's really required. So moving on along. The code inspector was lamenting to me actually, about not having a continuous header across multiple windows, as is in the instructions, in the drawings, in the blueprints, the prints. I don't know if that's actually the case. That's up to him. I just wanted to let my client know that if the building plans are actually stipulate a continuous header across here, then the builder should have an engineer come up with a plan and sign off on that. We're in the living room, the great room here. Now see the sealant across here, and it's going across that rafter, hillbilly home inspection. Well, it's important to have this sealant over here. Alright, somebody didn't say one day, you know, where can we use all this sealant up at? So when you see big gaps in the sealant like that, I don't think that's the plan. I think somebody was in a hurry, I think it dried, I think the gaps formed, I think we need some more sealant. Just do. Now I'm going to back up a little bit, just kind of like I went back to the drawing. Okay, but sometimes man, somebody's barbecuing. You got some good neighbors. It's coming along here. How's that sealant going? What is that? It's not what I came in here to show you, but you know, you see something twice, you see something else. Was that sealant supposed to go between those two headers? What's that about? But I came in to show you this board, this construction sheathing. And we come up here and it's fine. Everybody gets that, everybody wants it. But look, see those holes over there? That's not right. You say, oh, well, we have it everywhere else, but not there. And here's another thing that's going on. These are called collar beams right here. We don't have any upstairs. I didn't call it to your attention. But they're supposed to have 3 fasteners on each end, not 2. Not 2 fasteners. I haven't gotten a call that wasn't sales all day long. Good home, this is Bud. Oh man. It's my favorite robot, Jason. From Solar Energy, I think is what I don't know, it's been a while since we've entertained each other, had any meaningful conversations. So, moving on along, we're back into the living room. I did some backing up and I showed you that siding. Okay, soffit baffles are there. I had some other issues from the attic, if you remember. Okay, in here, most of these are okay, but sometimes the backs of these are less than 1.5 inches. Wait a minute. Sometimes the backs of these are less than 1.5 inches, so we really should have a nailing plate right there. This is again, the south. All right, so this would be the west wall in the living room. Moving along, we're in the parent bedroom. That's what we call it now. It's what I call it. People come up with different names, you know, to be politically correct, and I'm all there. You know which room I'm talking about. So, right here, that's my signature. And I'm not an engineer, okay? I'm not an engineer. I'm a home inspector. It's important that I stay in my lane. I'm not a municipal code inspector. I'm a home inspector. I stay in my lane. But I do use some engineering equipment, and this will be in the inspection report. But I used some engineering equipment, and I shot the floor. Pow, 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 dad jokes. Oh, spam risk. Good home, this is Bud. What? No, I'm not okay at all. Because you're bothering me, that's why. You are bothering me. You are bothering me. You're interrupting my life. So, sorry, I got to take out my frustrations. I can't go home and hit my wife or anything, or kick the dog, or, you know. So, I take it out on the telemarketer people. But anyway, I'm not an engineer, but I do use engineering equipment, and I'm looking for no less. I use guidelines. I don't calculate slope. I don't have tolerances. Is this tolerance? I hear that a lot. Is it spec? No. I've got guidelines to help me render an opinion about how the foundation is performing. Obviously, this is a new foundation. But if you get an engineer in later, then one of the things that they say is we do not know how it was built, as built. So they are forced at that point to render an opinion based on limited information about how the house was built and how it measured at the time. My equipment says that there's about 1.2 inches of floor height elevation differential overall. I put it in here because carpet is slated to go in here. So that, you know, some historical record, I guess. It'll be in the inspection report as well. But what I'm looking for is no more than 2 inches. No more than 2 inches. So that's, you know, in relative terms, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Moving on along. Okay, we added some nice nailing plates over here inside the parent bedroom west wall. All right. I need to put some. No, that one measured fine, I think. I might have to come back. Yeah. We need a nailing plate there. And that's probably what that thing is for. See, I had a nailing plate right here, a nailing plate right here. We need one right here, one right there, where there's no, and one right there. See, they added them here, and as we get further to this wall, they start getting farther away, so it's not necessary. But it became necessary on this end of the room, but they only put 2 nailing plates in. Check the plans. All right. So we come over here, and these manifolds, because this is going to be a niche. It looks like this is going to be a niche right here. They'll probably have a mirror installed over this, and giant mirror. If that's the case, this probably isn't as relevant. But we don't know. Obviously, they don't know because they've been installing nailing plates. All right. We need a nailing plate over here. Okay. Or this guy needs to be moved over a little bit. Just take this out, slide it over, move him, or put a nailing plate there. Move him, or put a nailing plate there. I don't know. Money. What does that mean? Now I'm going through the wall. This is the parent closet with an area underneath the stairs. We captured some space. It looks like we're about to capture some space. I like to show the good things. Okay, this is a pattern fitting. There's two different ways to do that. You can't take the vent for the plumbing up through the middle of the room. There's going to be an island here, so this is where the kitchen sink is going to be located. And there's two different ways to address the fact that this is a vent pipe, right? So there's two different ways to address that, and one of them is with air admittance valves, and I don't like those because they have a limited life, and this has a forever life. And sometimes air admittance valves, depending on the brand, it might need servicing, and this one never needs servicing. One thing I would do, though, I think, where's my paint? But this board is not very secure. All right, that nailing board for those, they just could have done better than that. It's like, I said, go get me a stick. I gotta put it in here, Philip. He said, I got you a stick, Doug. Okay. Well, Doug, did you find the worst stick you could find? The absolute worst stick? Is that what you did? Why'd you do that? That one downstairs, that one down there is not so bad. Okay. Moving on along. Bear with me. We're almost done with the downstairs, and we'll move on up. More nailing plates. 1, 2, 3, 4. More nailing plates. This is the formal dining area. And then I'm supposing this is the office study. And underneath this window right here, again, some more nailing plates. And when you see the pink, it means heads up. Got to see something. And a lot of times, like in this room, what we're seeing is nailing plates.